Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to your Daily Penguin. This is our tour through my Penguin Classic wall throughout the entire year of 2020. Very apologies for her being stuffed up, and probably for the sniffling I will do in this video. We are going through this wall. It is not very organized since we got out of the ancient world. The books have been piling on willy-nilly, but I have noticed in recent Daily Penguins propensity for 19th century American works, and that maybe is the result of an organizing binge at some point in the distant past that I don't remember, and that it has been picked apart. I prowl that wall on a regular basis. I pull books down to consult with them, or even just to visit with their authors, and I don't always put them right back where I found them. So if I did systematically organize the 19th century, it's probably frittered away since then. But today is definitely a case of that. Today is an author I love, one of my favorite American authors. This is Mark Twain. And my Penguin collection of Mark Twain is a very good illustration of the firm hand that I need to take with my Penguin collection just in general. I have a new script lettering black spine paperback of Roughing It, Mark Twain's great book about wandering through America. Absolutely hilarious. It's seen better days. I should clean it up and reinforce it. But I have an older version of the Penguin Black Spine classic of Tales, Speeches, Essays, and Sketches. This has the color-coded tab up at the top and the block white letters instead of the script. See what I mean? You see the difference there? I don't know if this version is still made by Penguin, and if so, if they've expanded it or updated the way it looks. And then I have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, not wild about the cover. And if I remember correctly, I wasn't wild about the introduction either. But I also have his other megawatt famous book, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, in two different Penguin classics. Very different widths as well. They both have the script back on it, but they're obviously different stock of paper or quite a bit more critical apparatus or whatnot. I like this cover much more. This is the thinner version. But look at that. That is all the Mark Twain that I have in a Penguin Classic, and look at what's missing. Look at what isn't here. First of all, there's no uniformity. The Essays and Sketches volume, has it been expanded? Has it been updated? Is it in the new Penguin Classic Black Spine trade paperback? But also, Innocents Abroad. Perhaps my single favorite Mark Twain book. I know that Penguin must make it, but I don't have it. Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. What about a gigantic collection of short stories? This has tales and sketches in it, but surely there's a whole volume of just short stories. I know that Penguin must make such a thing, and I don't have it. The Penguin Classics, the Black Spine Penguin Classics, probably also makes the portable Mark Twain. And I don't have that either. My Mark Twain collection should, if I'm going to have Mark Twain in Penguin Classics, it should be everything that they do, right? And yet it's not, because this was just accrued by happenstance. I do often pull these down, but I have another Mark Twain edition that I pull down, perhaps even more. This is those of you who watch my videos a lot will be familiar with that edition of Shakespeare right over my shoulder, and that same publishing house does Edgar Allan Poe, and they also do Mark Twain. They do Jack London as well, but they do 2 volumes of Mark Twain, the unabridged Mark Twain with opening remarks by Kurt Vonnegut. A great big tome of a thing that I had, previous to this volume, I had never seen this in a hardcover. Only in trade paperbacks that, as you can guess from the size of this thing, don't really survive a reading. And this press, the running press, the hardcovers are Courage books. They actually do a second volume of the unabridged Mark Twain that I have never seen in hardcover. I stopped getting the trade paperback of this whenever I found it in a used bookstore, because as much as of a heart-pleasing purchase as it is in the moment, I now know that the trade paperback doesn't hold up. Not with how often I consult this author. It doesn't hold up. It's just too big for a trade paperback to really work that way with a cheap binding. So I just need to wait and find the hardcover edition of Volume 2 of this, and then I will have a Mark Twain anthology that serves me in better stead than my ragtag Penguin collection. So what I need to do, I have this is the Mark Twain that I tend to pull off the shelf. But what I need to do is brush up my Penguin Classic Mark Twain. I need this to be complete and uniform. Would be ideal. Of course, I'm not really going used book shopping at the moment, so I'm not lavish with choices for how to find those things. But that's the thrill of the hunt. But in any case, your Penguin for today is an enthusiastic recommend. I don't know how many of you probably most of you in America made Mark Twain's acquaintance in school when you had to read Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn. And I don't know how many of you have thought to go beyond that. Probably if you did some of the signature short stories that are still funny even today. But I would argue that regardless of what your first impression was of Mark Twain, you should explore him more. There's more to him than the typical reductions tend to make. I would be a little wary of the one and only novel he wrote that he himself took very seriously and considered the finest thing that he ever wrote, which was Joan of Arc. I'd be a little wary of that. It's a little bit tough going. But I would recommend, especially, predictably enough, his nonfiction. Roughing It and Innocents Abroad are absolutely terrific. Following the Equator, his travel writing, just in general, is absolutely terrific. One edition of Innocents Abroad that I don't have, that I kind of wish I did, is a lavishly illustrated edition that was put out a long time ago by Reader's Digest. They put out a hardcover of Innocents Abroad that I don't think I have anymore. I've had it from time to time, but whenever I meet somebody who's always had a hankering to read Mark Twain, but doesn't know where to start or what to read, or maybe they've read Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer and they think, oh, that was enough of that. Whenever I meet somebody like that, I always want to press upon them Roughing It if they're American, and Innocents Abroad if they're not. And usually, as has been my case up until just about a year ago, I would then just impulsively mail off a copy from this room, from Little Book Room, which must never be done. These books have earned the right not to be just casually given away. What I should do in circumstances like that is tell the intended recipient, I will find you a copy. Nothing wrong with that. I have access, usually under normal conditions, I have access to a vast amount more used books than most people do. I can find you a copy of almost anything. And of course, there's the internet. I should just stop doing that. Other books, yes. Outside of this room, yes, fine. What I have is yours. But inside of this room, I should have. I don't think I kept that Reader's Digest volume, but I should have. Reader's Digest did great volumes of Roughing It and Innocents Abroad, and I don't think I have either one of them. But I do have this, and I use this. This is a rare instance where when I go to a canonical author in this room, the book that I pull down most often is not a Penguin Classic. I most often go to that instead of these. Maybe that would be different if I had everything. For all I know, Penguin Classic might do a paperback of St. Joan. I don't know. Maybe they do. One way or another, that is your Penguin for today. Sorry about the slurping. It is a wholehearted recommend. If you read Mark Twain a long time ago for school and you have not reacquainted yourself with him, you should fix that, because he's a lot more than what he was presented to you in school. Well worth your time. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.